Episode 1. Our story begins in the year 1985, opening with the scene of a shrine that houses the Asakura family, soon to gain 2 new members. A woman named Keiko is giving birth to her children. A pair of identical twin brothers with their grandfather, seemingly out of nowhere, makes an attempt on the first child's life. As he is attacking, however, a dark spirit seems to coalesce over the child and easily incapacitates both the old man and his son, revealing itself to be Onmyoji, Asakura Hao, who was driven out of the living world a full millennia ago. The spirit disappears, taking the child with him. Fast forward 13 years, we are treated to the sight of the second child, Yo Asakura, lounging about in a cemetery late at night when a boy from a nearby school, Manta, runs into him and is terrified by the spirits hanging around Yo, taking off in fear. The next day, Yo is admitted to the same school as Manta, even the same class, and denies anything to do with spirits so as to protect his secret. As Manta follows him around after school and eventually confronts him, Yo explains that he is a shaman in training, a person who acts as a bridge between the living and spirit worlds, and leaves after telling Manta he can count on him if he's ever in a bind. Going forward another day, he finds Manta having been beaten up by a gang of hooligans that were loitering in the same cemetery as earlier and roughed him up for trespassing on their territory. Seeing this, Yo instantly takes Manta away with him, claiming them to be friends, and thus it is his duty to stand up for him. When the boys face off with the gang that night, Yo displays what it truly means to be a shaman, allowing a legendary samurai spirit whose grave had been desecrated by these ruffians, Ami Damaru, to use his body as a vessel and defeat the social rejects. As Manta comes to terms with the things he has seen, Yo helps Ami Damaru resolve a 600-year-old dilemma that allows his best friend Mosuke's spirit to pass on. Ami Damaru himself deciding to stay on the living plane a little longer still, enlisting himself as Yo's companion on his ambition to become the Shaman King. Episode 2. After another long day of cram school, Manta is on his way home when he decides to take a shortcut through the cemetery, now being friends with all the spirits there. As he enters the grounds though, he is met with yet another strange boy, someone who claims that stars can no longer be seen in the night sky, and suddenly appears right behind Manta, demanding that he inform Yo there is another shaman in town who will steal Ami Damaru from him by any means. The next day at school, while Manta panics about the events of the previous night, Yo seems completely nonplussed, stating that it was an obvious fact that there are plenty of other shamans out there, but it can't be anything to worry about, as only those with a pure heart can see spirits in the first place. At least, that's what his grandfather told him. While making their way home from school for the day, Yo, Ami Damaru, and Manta come across an altercation in the street where the boy from the cemetery, Tao Ren, is using his own skills as well as his spirit, basins, to hurt normal people, claiming the pollution they spread to be a stain on the earth. Yo intervenes to save their lives, and a thrilling battle between the two shamans and their spirits ensues, alongside a philosophical debate about whether spirits are a shaman's companions or simply tools. With Yo only just barely managing to win the bout after being severely injured, he collapses, fully exhausted and heading into unconsciousness. While knocked out, he has a dream remembering the day he first decided on his goal to become the Shaman King, and the conversations he had with his grandfather while training. When Yo awakens from his slumber, Manta and Ami Damaru are at his bedside, overjoyed that he is fine, and they fuss over him. A girl appears at the entrance to the hospital room they're in, introducing herself as a shaman, Anna, the Itako, Yo's fiancée. Episode 3. As Yo greets Anna in the hospital room, she reveals to Manta that she was trained by Yo's own grandmother in the Itako branch of shaman abilities. She is capable of summoning spirits anywhere at any time, even ones that have already passed. She is here to train Yo, as she believes his current abilities are not up to par for the title of Shaman King, one that she has every intention of having him achieve, as her own goal is to be the shaman world's first lady. To silence Yo's protests, she reveals that the shaman fight between the world's shamans to find the true Shaman King is already set to occur, not too long from now. Fast forwarding in time, Yo arrives at school after a grueling training course set for him by Anna, injured and exhausted, only for her to arrive as well under the guise of a transfer student so she can train him during school hours as well. After the end of the school day, the trio along with Ami Damaru head to the cinema to watch Lee Pyron, anime of Bruce Lee, very on-the-nose depiction, movie for which they were sent tickets. Once they exit the cinema in awe of the martial arts legend's capabilities, they are confronted by Ren's older sister, Tao Jun. She is here in her brother's steed to take Ami Damaru from Yo, bringing out her own champion, Lee Pyron himself, in the form of a corpse puppet, explaining the vile and downright heinous ways of her family, whereby they unite a soul with its corpse and enslave it as a mindless puppet. Tao Jun goes on to reveal that her parents killed Lee Pyron in the first place, just to gift him to her as a birthday present. After a hard-fought battle between between Yo and Pyron, where Anna eventually summons Pyron's old master himself, Shaman, to inhabit Yo's body. Pyron is both freed from his enslavement and beaten into his senses, his rage over his situation being quelled. As Tao Jung shows regret over her actions, not having known that corpse puppets have true sentience, Pyron requests that she retain his service, this time as an equal partner and companion, so as he may go on to complete and perfect his fighting style in his own body. Episode 4. Today we open our story with the struggles of the gang from a couple of events ago, led by Wooden Sword Ryu, as they continue their search for their best place, a haven for them to call home. They come across a deserted bowling alley far in the suburbs. There's also a little bit of a subplot about him, falling for Anna that leads into the rest of the events, but we're going to skip on that account of, the blatant pedophilia. A bandit from 600 years ago with a grudge against Amidamaru, Takagero possesses Ryu's body as an instrument for his revenge against the samurai spirit, having his underling steal Harusame, the sword Mosuke forged for Amidamaru, and taking Manta as a hostage. Takagero in Ryu's body marches on Yo and Anna's house, prepared to do whatever it takes to cause Amidamaru any measure of agony and grief, with the bandit and samurai's battle being rather short-lived after Amidamaru steals his resolve and destroys Harusame. Takagero resolves to threatening Manta's life, followed by Ryu's own life, as the heated argument between the spirits and Yo reaches fever pitch. Yo realizes that Tokagero's true regret, the real reason he is unable to pass on. Yo offers himself up, telling Tokagero to possess his body and feel what it is like to be able to trust someone again, to feel the comfort of another's presence. As it turns out, the young shaman was right. Tokagero's only real feeling towards Amidamaru was envy over the friends he was able to grow alongside. As he possesses Yo's body, he finds himself unable to go through with harming him and surrenders. Episode 5. Following the events of Ryu's possession, the next morning finds him in Yo and Anna's house, asking to be allowed to be their chef, feeling indebted to them for making him feel like he belongs somewhere, having had his dormant shaman abilities awakened by the incident with Tokagero. Later out in the yard, Anna informs him that she summoned Mosuke and used Ryu's body as his vessel to repair Harasumi, leaving him feeling a bit disheartened, as that seemed to be the only helpful thing he's been able to do for them. That night, as Ryu and Manta head to their own homes from the Asakura residence, they witness the appearance of an incredibly beautiful shooting star over the horizon, unknown to them at the time, the signal that heralds the beginning of the great shaman fight to determine the one true king. As Yo and Manta relax outside a cafe in town the next day, they are observed by what seems to be an innocent street vendor selling trinkets, and the pair leaves the area being none the wiser to his true identity. Yo, however, would soon find out, as that night when he's relaxing atop a hill with Amidamaru, the vendor appears and introduces himself as Silva of the Patch tribe, an examiner of sorts, for which shamans are eligible for the shaman fight. He sets a fairly simple task for Yo to land a single strike on him, but as Yo soon learns, Silva is a very formidable opponent, commanding 5 different animal spirits at the same time and even being able to have them interact with physical objects. Silva explains that this is a shaman's ability known as Furioku, the ability to use one's power to solidify their spirit and make it interact with the physical plane in a way that cannot be done with simple integration. As Yo goes on to try several methods to fight these solidified spirits, he finds through trial and error that his only true option is to learn how to use Furioka himself. The rest of Yo's examination is spent attempting to figure out how to do so, and when he finally does, he unveils Amidamaru's spirit infused into the very sword forged for him by his brother-in-arms. With one final clash between Yo and Silva, a bright light envelopes them, dying down to reveal Yo's exhausted and collapsing while Silva is unharmed. Unseen to the boy, however, one singular hit was landed on the examiner, qualifying him for the shaman fight. Episode 6. With the great shaman fight beginning in the heart of Tokyo, one of the 10 officiants for the fight has already been murdered in the qualification process by none other than Tao Ren. With Silva shaken badly by the willingness of the others to allow Ren to go on in the fight instead of barring him, he is given a lecture by the big chief of their tribe. Over at the Asakura residence, Manta is going over the rules for the one-on-one bouts for the shaman fight, when Yo is scheduled to fight a shaman called Horo for his first official bout. The same night, Yo, Anna, and Manta head over to the decided location for their battle when they are met with Horo, a young shaman about the same age as them who uses a skateboard as his main tool, accompanied by Kororo, a nature spirit who is his dear friend and guardian spirit. With both Yo and Horo being of a very similar nature, seeing spirits as their treasured companions and having pure intentions, their duel begins with Yo asking to know what Hororo's dream is. Upon hearing his goal, Yo resolves to defeat him anyways, but to simply help him achieve his dream when he himself becomes Shaman King instead. With an intense fight breaking out between the two, both utilizing their Furioko to achieve Oversoul, they seem to be on relatively even footing despite Kororo being a higher class of spirit. Honestly, not much to say. While definitely fun to watch, it was a pretty generic fight with Yo eventually winning, so skip. The next day, Yo's victory is celebrated at his home, all his friends being present to enjoy a feast with him as he's one step closer to becoming the Shaman King. The end, for now.